Alright, so I just got out of seeing the new Jurassic Park film, Jurassic World Rebirth, and it it just fucking sucks, man. I hated this movie, really from start to end. There was only like two scenes that are even worthwhile. Um, I hate this franchise now. I hate the Jurassic World rebooted films. They've all been terrible, in my opinion. Um, like the first Jurassic Park film by Spielberg in 1993, like that's one of the best movies ever, in my opinion. I absolutely love that movie. Jurassic Park 2, which was mainly like with Jeff Goldblum, was great. I love that movie too. Jurassic Park 3 was okay, right? I liked how they had the pterodactyls and stuff. The ending scene in the fog, in the cage, big bird cage with the pterodactyls, was very memorable. But this scene, or not this scene, but this movie, it feels like a ride at Universal Studios. It feels like a movie, like, let's say they made a dinosaur ride at Universal Studios. It feels like this movie was based off that ride, rather than the other way around, about it having a dinosaur film, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World film, and then having a stupid ride at Universal. It feels like they inverse that. So yeah, this movie sucked. None of the characters stood out. I didn't care about any of the characters, human characters at all. They were all annoying as hell. ScarJo sucked. I guess she was the main lead. She sucked. And I don't even remember the characters' names, man. Like, so the whole concept of the film, which all the Jurassic World films have been about, is that, oh, now dinosaurs have entered the real world and the humans have to coexist with the dinosaurs, but there's no stakes, there's no tension. In the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where a dinosaur is in like New York City. One of the big, what are they called? The Brontosaurus, the plant-eating, the really big, tall with a long neck. It's just passed out in the middle of the street and no one gives a shit. So that doesn't make any freaking sense. And their explanation is, oh, dinosaurs have been, genetically engineered. They've been on the Earth for 30 years now at this point, ever since the 90s when the first Jurassic Park film took place. So now no human cares, apparently, about giant brontosauruses in New York City. That's retarded, right? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the humans are getting bored of the dinosaurs, so the, evil, cartoonishly evil, corporations need a way to, get attraction back to the dinosaurs, so they start genetically mutating them to make them like super dinosaurs, I guess. And it never really expands on that. It never really shows them. It'd be cool if they had like new abilities or whatever. They just have a bigger forehead. like the big dinosaur at the end of the climax is apparently it's the evil, big, genetically mutated dinosaur, and it just has a big, like, thing on its forehead. Like, there's nothing special. Like, how does it really even differ from a regular dinosaur? It's never explained. So anyway, the movie is that basically these group of people are going to the island in like South America along the equator, because apparently that's the only place where it's habitable anymore for dinosaurs, is the equator, which doesn't make sense because in the previous Jurassic World movies, I think it was the last one, Dominion, it showed them in like the snow and all this stuff, but apparently I guess they can't survive in the snow, which would make sense from a like reality standpoint, but nothing about the Jurassic franchise is based in reality. So yeah, the last of the dinosaurs are basically in the in these islands and stuff, tropical islands along the equator. And this team has to go and receive 3 blood samples in order to do something. Maybe I didn't pick up on it. I think at one point in the very beginning they had this big this big information dump where they tell you all this stuff, and apparently that's like, oh, you need to retrieve the 3 samples, right? You need to get the pterodactyl flying dinosaur, you need to get the big, land dinosaur, and then you need to get the dinosaur in the water. So this team sets off to this island to go retrieve the 3 blood samples from each specific type of dinosaur. And I guess the coolest action set piece with the dinosaurs, because that's why anyone ever watches a Jurassic film, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, is for the big dinosaur action scenes, right? I guess the coolest one in the movie was the one in the water where they're on the boat, right? And they have to flee from the big giant water dinosaur thing. I don't know what the species was called. So I guess that was cool. It would like jump out of the water and had its big teeth, and it would like bump up against the boat. So yeah, there's the group of researchers, and then there's this random family that just shows up like 45 minutes into the film randomly, I guess to increase the stakes, and we really care about the kid and the dad. I didn't. I didn't care about these characters at all, frankly. But yeah, they show up and their boat wrecks, right? So then they have to call out for help, and the team of researchers finds them in the water and rescues them. And then they get attacked by the evil big water dinosaurs again. So they, a few of the research team, they get killed by the big water dinosaur, but they flee it, right? They drive on the boat and they make it to the island. So I guess that's good. And then they basically have to retrieve the 3 samples, right? That's the whole big plot to the movie. You have to retrieve the 3 different samples from the dinosaurs, and then you have to make it to the helicopter. Apparently, they're going to send out a helicopter to rescue them at midnight the next day, right? So they have, what is it, like 30 or so hours till it's midnight the next day. So they have to basically get all the samples and then get on the helicopter at that specific time, and that's basically the rest of the movie. There's these big dinosaur scenes interspliced. A really stupid aspect of the film that really didn't have a satisfying payoff is that the kid character, the daughter that was in part of like the family, she, I guess, befriends this little tiny baby dinosaur, which was dumb. And it's like following them around the whole film, and she puts it in her backpack, and it's supposed to be all cute. It feels like some stupid way for them to sell toys, right? It's like a Baby Yoda bullshit, sell kids toys, right? I hate that. I hate that trend in films where they have to always insert some stupid cute baby thing. Oh, it's the baby Yoda, it's the baby. In Ghostbusters, they had like the baby Michelin Man. It's just stupid, right? But anyway, there was that plot line of the little baby dinosaur and the girl, which nobody cares about, right? So I'm trying to think of the other big action sequences. So there's a scene where I think it's a velociraptor, the boyfriend character of the older daughter, he's taking a piss, and it's at night, and you could see a velociraptor sneak up behind him. Right, is it over? And then boom, pterodactyl swoops in from the sky and takes it out and claws onto the velociraptor and flies away with it. Oh my god. I guess that was a somewhat cool scene, but it only lasted for like a minute. What else? Then there was the big tense scene I guess, which felt more like again, it feels like this whole movie feels like a amusement park ride at like Universal Studios. There's this scene where there's a T-Rex and it's sleeping, and they have to sneak onto a ship to basically get equipment and resources and stuff. So in this really dumb scene, she just walks past the sleeping T-Rex, right? Obviously the smart thing to do would just be to get the fuck out of there. But she decides to walk past the sleeping T-Rex and retrieve an inflatable... I'm seriously, all she gets is a flashlight and an inflatable lifeboat. So she takes the lifeboat, and then, the T-Rex wakes up. And then there's this big action sequence where they have to, go down the river on the little raft boat and escape the T-Rex. And it's like, it's trying to bite them. And, oh no, the younger daughter gets left behind. And, oh no, is she going to escape? And, oh no, she's swimming under the water and the T-Rex is going right, and like just shooting in the dark, apparently, just going randomly into the water with its big mouth. And right, obviously they wouldn't kill the kid, so there was no tension, because this is a PG-13 movie. So like, I don't think a kid has ever been killed in the Jurassic Park franchise, not once, not even in the original films, where there actually was tension and good characters and good storytelling and cool dinosaur action scenes, right? So yeah, they all escape from the T-Rex, and then what happens next? And then the team of researchers, they're split up from the family, so they go and they get the first, and I thought visually this was the best scene in the movie. It looked good, visually speaking, right? And I guess that makes sense because this is by Gareth Edwards, who's a really good filmmaker. I think he's a great director. I absolutely love The Creator. That was a really good film that was visually stunning that he made. And then he also made Rogue One, right? But the thing is, he directed the movie, but he wasn't the cinematographer, right? The cinematographer was obviously the great Greg Fraser. He's made the Dune films, the Batman, The Creator, Rogue One, right? When you think about all these films are visually amazing, right? So Greg Fraser was not the cinematographer for this movie. But nevertheless, it's still, Gareth Edwards, who did direct Rogue One and what other movie did he make? The Creator, right? These were visually stunning movies, right? So I guess he still learned some things from Greg and implemented them in this movie, right? The most visually appealing scene is when they're in that, there's the brontosauruses, big tall brontosauruses, and they're like mating or whatever. They're rizzing each other up, and it's this scene with this really beautiful, like, big tall grass, and they're in a big field, and there's the giant hills in the background. That scene was great, right? And it played the iconic, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, which I'm glad they didn't overuse, right? Because if they really wanted to milk the nostalgia, they would have just played the da-na-na-na-na over and over and over and over. But they only did it like 2 or 3 times. And in that scene, they used the da-na-na-na-na. And I thought it was great. I think that was probably the best scene of the movie. There was no action, but it just visually looked good, right? So they retrieved the blood sample from the Bronchosaurus, right? So they got the land, so they already have I forgot to mention, but when they were in the big water chase scene with the water dinosaur, they were able to retrieve the blood sample from the big water dinosaur. So they have the water one, they just got the land one from the Bronchosaurus, and now they just need an air one. So they need to go to the nest of the Velociraptors, right? So they climb down this big hillside, or big, like, cliff, really, in order to retrieve they have to go to the pterodactyl nest in order to retrieve the blood sample from a pterodactyl egg. And oh no, they get attacked, of course, right? You go into the nest, you get attacked by the big adult pterodactyl. And it wasn't like the pterodactyls in Jurassic Park 3, again, that scene in the birdcage where it's all misty. That is actually scary as hell when the pterodactyl walks on like the metal bridge, and you hear the clanking, and it just appears through the mist. That's scary as fuck, right? Because typically when you think of dinosaurs, like the scary ones is, oh no, it's the big T-Rex or it's the big whatever, right? Pterodactyls are kind of like bitch made, right? When you think about it. But actually, no, in comparison to a human, they're still massive. So really, if you were there with a pterodactyl, they would be fucking scary as fuck, right? And I think Jurassic Park 3 really shows, particularly in that final scene, right, the climax scene in the big birdcage with the mist and the pterodactyls, that scene actually made pterodactyls fucking scary. Whereas this, the pterodactyls were not scary. It was just stupid. It was going like, right? And it was missing every time. I don't know why the dinosaurs, they could never aim their mouths in this film. They seem to miss every single time a character is in danger of being bitten or eaten by a dinosaur. They always seem to just miss. So that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, they retrieve the sample from one of the pterodactyl eggs, and one of the crew members dies. Oh no, one of the crew members gets eaten by the pterodactyl. That was a kind of a cool scene where they're pulling up the cliffside with the rope, and he's trying to, right, the pterodactyl's right behind him going like, so he's climbing up like this. Oh no, oh no. And then it cuts to the team members on the top of the cliff, and they think they're, oh no, right? It's like, oh wow, we think we saved him. Oh no, and then the rope goes all the way up to the top, and then oh no, it's the pterodactyl, and the guy's in the pterodactyl's mouth, and he's getting eaten. Oh no, right? So that guy dies, but they receive the sample, and they escape from the pterodactyl. They go into these like ruins or whatever. So yeah, they escape the pterodactyl. So now they have all 3 samples, right? They got all the 3 samples. So now all they got to do is get to the helicopter by midnight in order to escape the island and get home safe with the samples, right? So then we go back to the family that was separated, right? For the most of the movie, they were kind of doing their own thing, escaping the dinosaurs while the team are retrieving the samples, right? So we go back to the family, and they're looking around. They make it to the helicopter pad, right, where they're going to escape, and then they meet up with the team of researchers. Whoop-de-doo, they made it. Now they just have to make it to midnight. And there's this whole side plot where it's the evil corporate InGen guy. I think that's the corporation, right? The corporation in the Jurassic Park films is called InGen. Oh no, he's just like cartoonishly evil for no reason, which was dumb. There's a point, and I guess this is a big plot point in the film, but during the big water chase scene with the water dinosaur, the older daughter is about to fall into the water off the boat, and oh no, he doesn't save her for whatever reason, because he's just an evil corporate man. Oh no, right? So he's like the big antagonist for no reason. So yeah, they meet up with the researchers, and the corporate guy has been with the researchers the whole time. And then the older daughter yells out, oh my god, he could have saved me and he didn't. And it's like, oh no. And then he pulls out a gun and he's like, we just got to escape. We just got to get on the helicopter. She's lying. And there's supposed to be this big tension scene here between the human characters. And I don't care, because that's the thing about the Jurassic Park films. I don't care about the human tension. We're here to see the frickin' dinosaurs, man. That's what's the best thing about these films, is when the human characters are trying to escape and fight off the dinosaurs. I don't care about the interhuman conflict, and that's been a big theme with all these Jurassic World rebooted movies ever since the 2015 one, is that there's all this weird interplay between the human characters, and we just don't care. Like, nobody cares about this. We're here to see the dinosaurs. But anyway, oh no, they get attacked by the I don't even know what dinosaurs they are, but they're like medium-sized, fast-paced dinosaurs. So they get attacked, and they have to take refuge I guess apparently there's like this convenience store underneath the helicopter pad, which didn't really make sense. But yeah, they take refuge in the convenience store, and then it's kind of a callback to the iconic Jurassic Park 1 from 1993, where the 2 kids are hiding in the kitchen from the Velociraptor. There's kind of a similar scene where the medium-sized, fast-paced dinosaur is slowly walking through the aisles in the convenience store, and they're, running through the aisles and hiding behind the bag of chips, the big aisle with the bag of chips, which was It didn't have the tension of the first film, right? When the kids are hiding in the kitchen from the Velociraptor, that's genuinely scary, right? The Velociraptor opens the frickin' door and walks in. Nightmares, right? Terrifying. But this, I wasn't scared. Like, Jurassic Park worked. The first one worked because it had horror components to it, right? Scary stuff. This was not scary at all. It was just dumb. But anyway, they basically spend the rest of the film evading these dinosaurs until at one point the big dinosaur shows up and, oh, they see the helicopter in the distance. They shoot out the flare. Oh, we're here. Come save us. And then the big dinosaur shows his face through the mist. It's the big mutated dinosaur that was in the very first scene of the movie that showed the researchers testing the dinosaurs or whatever. And there was the big mutated one with the big thing on its forehead. It just looked like a bump on its forehead. Again, they don't explain how it's mutated, but it's just a really big dinosaur, I guess. And it bites the helicopter. I guess this is kind of a cool scene. It bites the helicopter out of the air and kills the whole crew of the helicopter. So now, oh no, now they're stuck on the island. They have no escape, and they have to escape from the big evil mutated dinosaur. So what they do is that they find out, oh, there's still a boat on the dock, so we'll go to the boat on the dock. And then the evil corporation guy gets into a car and like ditches them and just says, you know, like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. And he just gets in the car and goes driving to the dock to escape on the boat. But of course he gets caught by the big dinosaur. The dinosaur picks up the car and eats him. Everyone saw that coming from a mile away, right? No surprises. It's the same old cliche bullshit where the evil character gets his comeuppance by getting eaten alive by the dinosaur. We've seen it a billion times. So anyway, basically the movie ends with Scarlett Johansson and the team of researchers and the family. They meet up earlier, right? When they got to the convenience store, that's when they met up. I think I already mentioned that. But yeah, basically they escape the big evil mutated dinosaur by getting on the boat. And the film ends with them driving off into the sunset, which again, this is another weird thing. I thought the ocean was extremely dangerous because the water dinosaurs, like apparently, I guess the water dinosaurs were just not around at this time of day, right? Shouldn't they have gotten eaten by the big water dinosaurs, especially in like a little tiny raft boat that they were in? But yeah, basically it just does the da-na-na-na-na-na score, and then as they drive off into the sunset, and that's how the movie ends. So it wasn't very exciting. Some of the action set pieces were okay. It didn't compare to any of the first three Jurassic Park films, particularly not the first two by Spielberg. So I guess the plus sides are the cinematography looked good. Visually, it looked good. Again, particularly the scene with the big tall grass and the brontosauruses. That was the best scene in the film. I really liked how it looked visually. And I guess just the whole island as a whole looked good, right? But other than the visuals of the film, the plot sucked, the characters sucked, the score was nothing new, just reusing the same da-na-na-na-na that we've heard a billion, literally 6 times now. There's been 6 of these films now. And I just don't like the Jurassic World rebooted films. They suck. They just suck. They don't compare to the original trilogy. And it's just it just feels like a shameless cash grab and a way to sell toys. They all feel like amusement park ride. I've said that a billion times, but that's what it is. It's amusement park, particularly this one. I will say that this one, Jurassic World Rebirth, is better than Dominion or the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or even the first Jurassic World 2015 one. Those movies are all awful, horrific abominations of films, particularly Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Those movies suck. And I never saw any of these rebooted Jurassic World films. I grew up watching the original trilogy, and I absolutely loved those films. But I was 15 years old when the Jurassic World movie came out in 2015, and I just never checked it out because I thought, this there's no reason to make another Jurassic Park movie. And I was right, because they all suck. They all suck pretty bad. So I don't recommend this film. Even if you like the original Jurassic Park film, or films, the first three, I don't recommend this film. It's not worth it. Just watch those films instead. Or better yet, go watch Superman. Go watch Superman in IMAX. I'll be watching that tomorrow at 4:30. It's about 1 a.m., so I got to go home and get to sleep. But I'm very excited to see that, because I've heard a lot of good things about that film. I much would have preferred to see that film today, so I'm excited to see that tomorrow. So if you are looking to go to the movies, don't watch Jurassic World Rebirth. This movie sucks. Go ahead and watch Superman. That's what I recommend. Superman review will be coming out tomorrow. I think I'll get out of the theater. It starts... the showtime is at 4:30, so I'll probably upload my review by 7:30, probably, right? So thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll have more movie reviews in the future. So thank you very much. Goodbye and good night.